Today's video is brought to you by the novel 9/10. Alright, so a couple things to clarify about North Korea. All the war rhetoric and all this propaganda is just that. It's propaganda, and it's a larger smokescreen. The question is, for what? How and why is the American mainstream media machine diverting the attention of average Americans and having us focus on North Korea, having us focus on Kim Jong-un? You know, the loose cannon that's going to declare nuclear war with the United States at any moment. There's no logical reason for North Korea to do that. The only reason or intent would be if they intended to wipe themselves off the map. So the larger question here is, why are we being diverted? Now, we've seen all kinds of reports out over the past few months, but it's been intensifying over the past few weeks as the United States has been sending stealth bombers overseas in the area. China has been mobilizing their troops along the border. And we've also been getting these strange propaganda films from North Korea, these cartoon-like videos showing the destruction of American cities. In my opinion, this isn't propaganda coming from North Korea. This is propaganda coming internally from the United States, from the CIA, and from these groups. But the question is why? Two logical reasons and answers to that question would be it could be a political diversion from the collapse of Europe and the implosion of places like Cyprus, the Eurozone, and the Euro. In addition to that, notice how the mainstream media has not been reporting on what's happening in the Middle East, which is clearly in a very fragile state. We have Bashar al-Assad ousted on a warship off the coast of Syria. President Barack Obama and the United States government has every intention to murder him, just like Muammar Gaddafi, just like with the overthrow of Libya, just like with the gun running that has been taking place from Libya to Syria, something that President Barack Obama is well aware of and has orchestrated himself, just like he's been running guns into Mexico here in the United States of America. So the question is why? What is this North Korean diversion and what is it intended for? Why are Americans suddenly focused on Kim Jong-un, who really is just a figurehead? And I question whether or not his father, Kim Jong-il, died of natural causes. I think there's a possibility he was murdered because now they've established a military dictatorship in North Korea. The question is why? Is China mobilizing against us? Are they planning something? Or again, is this a smokescreen to divert the attention away from Europe, away from Cyprus, away from Angela Merkel, away from Syria, and away from Iran? Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, Bashar al-Assad, Israel, and the clear intent to invade and to start another global war. You know, I don't know if the war actually breaks out this year. All I know is that it's coming. And how do I know that? You know, I might sound overly confident. The reason I know that is because I study history. Every time there's a currency crisis, every time there's a debt crisis, it leads to war. And not these little itty-bitty small wars. We're talking global, world war. And it's exactly what the United States intends. So they'll keep blowing the bubble up. Dow will keep going higher. We'll see inflation and prices rising all around us. But at some point, it's going to pop. And when that bubble bursts, they have every intent of sending and asking you, the little guy, the regular John and Jane on the street that they're disarming, by the way, and taking the Second Amendment away from the public. They're going to ask you to die on the front lines. You yourself or your son or your daughter. Not their children, of course. They'll be in college, they'll be sheltered somewhere overseas like Mitt Romney flew to Europe with the Mormon church to avoid the war. Their children won't die. They won't be asked to fight. They're privileged. You'll be asked to die. You'll be asked to step on an IED. And if you're lucky to survive that explosion or survive that war or that future event, you might come back here to the United States with your arms and legs blown off like a lot of the cripples that come back here from Iraq and Afghanistan right now. And you'll be a long distant memory to this administration and this regime. And you won't be taken care of. Because that's how things work here in America. You know, we have to ask ourselves the question, what are we even fighting for anymore? What side are you on? Are we fighting for bank bailouts? Are we fighting so that the federal government can raise the debt ceiling into infinity and print our currency and inflate us out of what America was once known to be, an economic powerhouse? What is it exactly that we stand for here in the good old US of A today? I'd like to think that the God-fearing, and some of you that do not believe in God, but the good people doesn't really matter. I'd like to believe that that a lot of us still stand for freedom, still stand for liberty, still stand for constitutional values, that still actually want a Second Amendment in this country, want the ability to defend ourselves from a tyrannical government or a potential invasion. People always forget about that. I'd like to think that we do stand for something, that we are fighting for something, that we are fighting to purge Washington and Wall Street from criminals and from corruption and from outright theft. Just like what we're seeing in Cyprus is happening here in the United States. These are all very big questions. Again, why is North Korea providing such a giant smokescreen at this given point of history? I'm Christopher Green. You've been watching Green Wave TV, alternative media television, and I just deliver the Daily Wave, hard-hitting and in your face. If you like this video, please share it everywhere. Subscribe to us on YouTube, Facebook, follow us on Twitter, support our sponsor below, and get it out to the viewing public. Peace.